All right, Daryl, welcome back. How's the first couple days been for you?
Yeah, the first couple of days have been they've been tough, but it's good. I enjoy it. I think getting back into the swing of things after a little bit of a summer break is nice, especially obviously being here. The heat has been. I had to get well acquainted with it really quickly, but no, it's been good. Very good sessions.
How has it been reacclimating to Orlando and just meeting your new teammates, reacquainting yourself with the staff that's been here? Just how's all that been for you?
It's been pretty seamless, honestly. I think coming here. I think when I first got off the flight, I was like, whoa. Like I remember this. I remember obviously all the Disney things in the airport. But yeah, quickly I came here. I was like, oh, like I remembered pretty quickly. Facility, same thing. People, everyone's made me feel welcome. So plus with a lot of help of everybody, it's been an easy transition.
I mean, one question I guess everyone has: how did this all kind of come to fruition? Because I think Daryl, Dike coming back to Orlando City, I don't think it was in anyone's cards this summer. Can you kind of share some background information as far as how did it all come together, and I mean, how did it come to that decision to come back to Central Florida?
Yeah, I think for me, obviously, speaking with my family, speaking with my agent, things like that, I think, this is a place that I had some success at, and a place that I loved it. And I remember when Ricardo messaged my agent and started talking about things, I was like, ooh, that sounds all right, because obviously the memories, everything starts flowing, and the project that he was explaining and things like that. Yeah, it's a nice experience. So when that kind of happened and things started rolling and going and things like that. I made the decision. I was like, yeah, let's go home. Why not?
Have you been able to follow up with Orlando City just the last few years, considering you've been in England, but have you been kind of keep track as far as how the team's been doing these last few years after you left?
Yeah, for sure. I think, keeping track with things is, it's something I've always going to do because no matter what, even if I wasn't here, I was still a fan. I think time difference can be a little bit difficult sometimes. But yeah, of course, I try and catch the games every once in a while. I still had the MLS package, of course, so still watched a few games when I could. But yeah, of course, I've always been following still.
So how much has the club, the city, or even your own perspective changed since you left here?
Yeah, I think when I first came here, I think it was for me. I think maybe like not even necessarily like a little boy kind of mentality, but for me, I was so fascinated by everything. It was my first time around. I was first professional environment. Big time players. I was playing with Nani at the time, Pato players. Mauricio, tons of big players back then. So I was so starstruck by it. Not to say I'm not still starstruck by someone like Griezmann and stuff like that, but yeah, I think when I come back here now, I have a lot of experience, a lot more experience than I did before. So hopefully I can have a bigger impact in the team in that regard. And yeah, I think that's the main difference is the more experience, more maturity.
And so you had left here as a young super draft pick, returning now seasoned international. So how do you feel your game has evolved the most during your time overseas?
I think for me, it's been the brain. I think I've always kind of had a physical presence and things like that, but I think my footballing brain has increased a lot. I think when to drop, when to make a run, when the team needs me to press, etc. Even no matter what. And I think technically, that's been something that I've been working on a lot. So different kinds of finishes, different kinds of ways to drop in the pockets, passing, linking up. So I think I'm excited to kind of demonstrate that to people. Of course, there's still a lot for me to improve on. That's why I came here to speak with Martin. And it was something that was very important to me that I still wanted to make sure that I'm improving. And trust me, he assured me, he's like, trust me, you'll get even better. And something exciting as a person who wants to keep improving as well.
And so with that, have you had a chance to speak exclusively with Martin about how he plans to deploy you into the system right away?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as I said, I've been off for a little bit, so have a little bit of time to get reacclimated to playing game speed. But yeah, of course. I mean, he and I have spoken. I've only had a few sessions, so he's even seeing more and more of things I like to do, having conversations with the players around me. So things like that are very, very important. And yeah, just kind of keep growing. I think that relationship is very, very important for the my success, the team's success, and everything moving forward for this season and next season.
Have you kind of been able to see the welcoming? I mean, I think the only guy that still is here from when you were here is Robin Janssen, but plenty of new guys. How have you kind of seen that welcome from the rest of the guys and just in general?
Yeah, it's a very good welcome. I think immediately everyone's welcomed me, players, staff, fans. From the moment, even on social media and things like that, I'm able to feel it. I love that. It makes the transition even easier for me, and it's been great. The guys, the group, very good collective group. I think everybody's well knit. Everyone's good, good friends. Even if you speak the same language or not, everyone finds a way to laugh, to communicate, and so it's it's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of it. I've only been here for a few days, not even a full week, and I already feel a part of the group. So it's nice. It's a nice feeling because not every single changing room is like that.
Daryl, the World Cup's over. Obviously, MLS returned to play for the teams on Wednesday. You were at the World Cup watch party in Clear, Orlando yesterday. I guess for the fans that haven't been able to pay attention to Major League Soccer, obviously the casual fans know who you are, but I mean, what are you hoping to do this season as far as just getting back into the hustle of things and kind of just what can fans expect from you and from the team as far as that goes?
I think collectively it's for wins. I think no matter what, every single time we're here on the training pitch doing everything, getting together because we want to win. I think there's obviously an Open Cup semifinal, so that's first and foremost. That's the first thing that we want to achieve, and something I'd love to be a part of. The guys did all the work, but I'll come in and try and help them out a little bit. But yeah, so Open Cup of course, and then reach playoffs and have a good playoff run and maybe even win things. I think that's if you're coming into any situation and thinking anything less of yourself that you're going to win, especially with the the quality that you have here, I don't think you're in the right place. I don't think you're in the right mindset. So I think that's the position. And then me personally, it's as I said, I just want to keep improving. I want to keep getting better. I want to be able to contribute to the team as much as possible. And with the guys, with the coaching staff, with my own mentality, I think that's something I'm gonna do.
Since you left, a lot of youth players have come through the Orlando academies and come up and now sign first-team contracts. Those guys that are now 18, 19 years old were like 13, 14 years old when you were playing. And watching you play in the stands, have you kind of wrapped your head around that of like kids that used to watch me are now playing with me?
Yeah, for sure. Like talking to Flacco, I think. Talking to Flacco, it's interesting because when I was first here, I was the really young kid who came in, and there were academy players who were younger who would come in to train and things like that, and then now I'm coming back and Flacco's training with the first team consistently, and even me thinking as a person, it's nice to know that some people have followed you even when I left, and then even then knowing that a club like this, integrating a lot of players and improving them and stuff like that there's a clear pathway, and I think that's something that's very, very important in every single club. You've seen that with Alex. You've seen that with me. You've seen it. So it's nice to know that the club really cares about players who are younger and gives them the opportunity to play because they're all we're all important, and I think it's nice from all the staff top to bottom. They help improve players. They help everyone, which is kind of what shows when you see the games on Saturdays and Wednesdays.
So, two more quick. What did you miss the most about Orlando while you were in Europe?
I think the thing I missed was I miss the fans. I really enjoy the fans here. I think everyone is very, very welcoming. Not to say that the fans in England weren't, because they were also phenomenal. But I think the fans here they're great. I think every single time I've stepped out, everyone's given me such warm welcomes. It's so nice. Even at the at the match yesterday, big warm welcome, big applause, and it makes you feel good. It makes all the work that you kind of do that they don't watch and they don't see, it makes it feel more worth it when people are there supporting you, and yeah, it just feels good. That's the main thing, yeah.
First thing you did when you got back?
Slept. Went to the hotel, took off the pants that I was wearing because it was too hot. Yeah, probably that was the first thing I did, and then came in. Met everybody, met some people, so that was nice. Met some old relationships.
Is that humidity that hit you as soon as you stepped the baggage claim at MCL?
Oh, absolutely. I was sweating. I was sitting there. I was like, I'm not in England no more. but it's all right. Like obviously, listen, this is weather that people travel to go to, so it's I love it. It's great.